There we go. Boss Moves family. There we are. We are back again. Back waiting on my brethren. Nah, I got Mo.
What's good, bruh?
Mo, what's up, Mo?
How's it going?
On time, man.
With the joke?
Boss Moves family. 2 out of 3. We doing it. What's up?
Oh,
what's going on with you today, bro?
Huh?
What's going on with you today?
Oh man, just trying to live, brother. How about yourself?
Same thing, man. It's just, trying to thrive and live, and you know what I'm saying? Get your whole body above water. You got your head above water, then you get your neck, then you get your whole body above water. You know what I mean?
So you body right now?
Hey man, I'm getting there.
That's what's
my chest out.
Well, that's good, man. That's what's up,
man. Everything, brother. What Trey at, man? He said he was coming, right? And we're gonna have to get into it.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to get into it, man. We can't keep the Boss Moves family waiting.
Yeah, get some people in the room.
You know what I'm saying, even if we don't, man, they're gonna hear it later.
Yeah.
They can check it out. We don't have no eyes on us, but the eyes gonna be on us. But we got to get this out, man. We got to talk about this. This is it's a big development, I think. So the topic today from the Boss Moves family is Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo disgraced.
Man.
We really want to know, do men in positions of power sabotage themselves financially, just socially? Because that's what it seems like. There's always, especially over the last few years, but I think this has been going on forever, right? As long as men have been in front of cameras and have been in power and been given a lot of say-so in different arenas of life, we've been fucking up. I mean, hold on. Did I say that too early? I think 2 minutes into the stream, you ain't supposed to cut.
Oh, for real?
Up, man.
Is that the rule?
I think that's something I got from Kwame Brown, man. Kwame Brown said that, and I think that's part of the algorithm. If you don't curse in the first 2 minutes, you get promoted a little bit better. So you jump on cursing and all that, the algorithm feels it and knows it, and is like, okay,
interesting.
Yeah, so we got to remember that,
right?
But anyway, but yeah, specifically with the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who resigned today because of the allegations of 11 women. 11. That's enough. They throw the numbers game out there now. Yeah, I'm not saying he's, I really don't have that much of an opinion about it. The numbers game doesn't move me at all, though. Like when they say, "Oh, if it's 5 women, it must be true. It's 11 women. It's 60 women. It must be true." Like numbers game really don't move me. And I think that's all it is a numbers game. But 11 women came out and said he sexually harassed or inappropriately touched them at some point. And are you familiar with the case?
Yeah, somewhat. It was interesting to hear it all play out and to see how long it took for him to even try to step down.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah,
because I think they've been investigating him for months, right?
Yeah.
And they concluded the investigation like a few days ago. And now he started getting pressure from Biden. Biden was like, he should probably
it's about that time
to step down.
It's about that time.
Right.
Yeah. I just, I think ever since Trump, you know what I'm saying? Ever since Trump, I think people have a little bit more gall, a little bit more chutzpah.
That's a good word.
Yeah. I feel like, they feel like, we should be able to tolerate more if we could tolerate Trump. And it's like, what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. So,
that is an interesting point you bring up, because Trump, he had many accusers as well.
Many.
Like, and some of them, he even caught on tape saying, grab him by the P word.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's very deep. I mean, And I guess they tried to demand that he, step down from the presidency. I mean, that wasn't going to happen, but the pressure's a little bit different, especially when coming from, the Democratic side. They tend to be a little bit holier than thou or whatnot, and the liberal side, I should say. And so it's really a lot of pressure for you to oust, for those people to go ahead and get on up out of there.
Right.
They went so hard on Trump and went so hard on like some of the others. Man, it's the sheer number of people, of men. Can I share the screen? How do I share the screen?
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask how you do that.
Bro, let me.
Okay. I see. There's a share button.
I'm going to share something real quick, bro. This is crazy to me. And I want everybody to take a look at this. This is a list. Can you see it? Or no, maybe not.
No, I can't see it.
Okay, hold on. Window, tab. Yeah, there it is. All right, now you can see it.
Yeah.
Yo, this is a list. What is it called? Of 262 celebrities, politicians, CEOs, and others who've been accused of sexual misconduct since 2014.
2014.
So this is the arts and entertainment tab. This is tabs, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arts and entertainment tab.
Depending on the category.
I mean, you could just look through here and you just see different names that you know. T.J. Miller, Morgan Spurlock, Sylvester Stallone, Ron Jeremy. That's hilarious. Wow. Tom Sizemore, like Russell Simmons. Of course.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Russell.
Louis C.K., Steven Seagal, Dustin Hoffman, Brett Ratner, Nick Carter, Jeffrey Tambor, Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski is the guy. You know who Roman Polanski is?
No, I don't.
Roman Polanski was a very famous director from the 60s, 70s. He raped, and that's probably a word you're not supposed to say on these streams too. He R-worded a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old, I believe it was I don't know if it was at the Playboy Mansion or what, but a lot of that went on at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, that's
a 13-year-old. And then he fled to France. So he's living, in France. I think he's in France right now, where they won't extradite for years. And they've been trying to get him to come back to the United States to bring him to justice. And a lot of these celebrities who went crazy during the Me Too movement, a lot of female celebrities were in total support of Roman Polanski. But that's another. That's
wild. That's wild. A 13-year-old too.
A 13-year-old.
And they were in the Playboy Mansion.
Hold on. Oh, there's Trey. My bad, Trey, man. How long you been right there? I was on another screen. We were sharing the screen right quick. Can you see the screen still?
What's good, brother?
What's going on, y'all? Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, let me recap just a little bit. We just talked a little bit about what our topic is going to be. It was Andrew Cuomo, and we're wondering if do men in these positions of power and have big financially successful men, do they sabotage themselves? Like, it's just such a lot of men in all these positions. Right on the screen, you see there's 200 and something different men since 2017 that have been, accused of sexual misconduct. And we're just naming some names that we saw and we knew. Mm-hmm. So, hold on. I see a new boss. I see a new boss player.
Yeah.
I see somebody else joining the Boss Move crew right there.
We got a fourth member here.
Oh man, that's what's up, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Man, congratulations, brother.
We're glad he could make the cast today.
Appreciate it.
Let Daddy come on for a minute. But yeah, so I just, we just pulled this up. That was arts and entertainment. This is media. Donovan McNabb, Les
wow,
Tom Brokaw, like people you never think.
Sure, Roethlisberger's in there too. Then somewhere.
Who?
Roethlisberger.
Oh, let's see, Roethlisberger. I don't know what year it was.
Yeah. Are these confirmed, or is this just like allegations?
I believe these are like allegations with sources. You know,
Okay.
so if I clicked on one, it'll say like Les Moonves. Multiple women have said he sexually harassed or assaulted them. He has stepped down from CBS. So it ain't really like, I mean, how can you what's the confirmation? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the trouble with it as well. Like that's
because
part of
I
the
think
problem.
a lot of the people that are on that list really maybe come from the old school, where now flirting is sexual harassment nowadays.
If they don't
So
like
I definitely can believe powerful men with a bunch of women around them, always trying to be around them. I mean, the governor of New York. I mean, I'm sure that there are women all around trying to, and if you give one a hug the wrong way or something, I can definitely understand how nowadays it's sexual harassment. You know what I mean?
and it's pretty deep too, because that's pretty much what the women who detailed their experiences about Cuomo, that's pretty much kind of what it was. One in particular, I remember she's a policeman, but she was one of his armed security on her off time, and she said that she'd be standing in a elevator and standing in front of him, and he would take his hand and just like run it down her back.
That might be sexual harassment.
Yes, that is definitely sexual harassment.
Or when he passed her, he would walk past her. He would grab. He would, how he like brush again. He would take his hand, and she said it would go from where her gun was across her belly. And he would just sweep across her belly and be like, "Excuse me." It's like some old player stuff.
that ain't even subtle though. You know what I'm saying?
That's not very subtle, but
it's just kind of weird.
I mean, well, I can see. I remember a point in time, like and I've seen this a lot. I've probably done this before. Like you're walking past, like people females you might know, you're not sexually attracted to. It don't have to be any of that, but you're passing them and you put your hands on them, like that's harassment today.
That's an old player move, Charles.
That's what I said. When you said that was poignant, because that's one of the things. That's some old school. And look at a lot of these are men of a certain age too, that just don't know. Like you can't do that no more.
Yeah, some of those moves that he was doing, I can understand. They're right there on the line, right down the line. But then the touching of the butt and the grabbing her on the breast,
that's different.
Kind of thing. That's different. Totally.
There's no question.
There's no question. And I heard both of those cases happen.
Right. So. Okay. So that was some of the accounts as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then kissing. But he said that was his culture. Kissing on the cheek. He do it to men. He do it to women. And there were some men who actually vouched for that too.
Yeah, he kissed me.
Yeah, he kissed me on the cheek. It must be a cultural thing. He's Italian. And,
he kissed me all the time.
Straight up did.
But yeah,
I didn't say nothing.
But just like any job, you got to change with the times. I mean, everybody goes through some kind of training. Some cultural, sexual harassment training, things like that. So I can't see how him being governor and all the years that he's kind of been in politics, him and his family, and he hadn't gone through any of that training. So
yeah, and then there's where the power comes in, right?
Wow.
The financial position and the power is, when you can pretty much do what you want for so long because of the status, the fame, the financial position, and the power. When even around you, because he came out for Me Too, like last year, if I'm not mistaken, and put some laws on the books and made a hard stance on it, all the while knowing or thinking that he was above that, he was outside of that fray. And I think that's where we get mixed up with the power.
And also, you have to realize too, just like Trump said, I mean, when you're in those positions of power, sometimes they really let you do certain things. Sometimes you are really kind of above. You're just your average man walking down the street. For one person, it's sexual harassment. For one, the girl might say it's flirting, and they could say the same thing. Right. It really depends on who she likes.
I was going to say that.
That's a situation. It's who she's attracted to. And I don't know if y'all saw, they talking about Keanu Reeves recently. He started to like every picture he takes, if it's with a fan or anybody, he deliberately puts up his hands and shows his hands are not touching anybody. Like
Go
he
like
like a
this.
woman, he goes like that. Yeah, it shows like,
funny.
yeah, I'm not touching this woman. And I guess that's really what it's come to now.
Got to protect yourself. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. He did talk. Cuomo did talk out a lot about Trump too during his presidency and how he should step down. That's kind of ironic.
It's very ironic.
It's very ironic, but
well, I mean, you can also look at this in another way too. You know, these people, him in particular, because of his, you know, some of his vaccine stances, and I probably shouldn't even say that word as well, but some of his stances politically, you know, these guys get political enemies, and it ain't nothing to grab up, you know, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 women and, you know, get them on one page and get rid of somebody, or, you know what I mean? I mean, we've seen it, you know, dare I say Cosby, like Gloria Allred gathered they were all represented by one person.
Yeah.
You know, they had, you know, per diems paid by one firm. They all got together before that documentary and were put up in hotels, you know. So if somebody wants to do something like that to you today, it's really kind of just the power, or it looks this way, like the power of media. If you got media on your side, if it's your time, if it's a certain movement going on and that's the zeitgeist of the times, you might just have to take that L. And I wonder if he really feels like that. He might have been inappropriate. You know, like what you said about touching people's breasts and like all of that.
Yeah.
Like that's beyond the pale.
Right.
No question.
Right. And I think Trey said something that kind of, you know, resonated a little bit with the fact that I think the fact that he did these things makes me think that he's gotten away with it before. So, you know, if you get away with it one time, why not try it again and again? You know, if you keep getting away with it. So that's, you know, I'm kind of leaning to what that's like y'all said, you know, if it depends on the woman. If she is for it, she's for it. If she's not, you're in trouble. So
yeah, straight up.
It must have worked for him in the past.
That's why I just I don't even talk to women anymore. I can't. Well, first of all, of course, I got a woman, but just in terms of before her, like
that's a good reason.
I still don't. That's the first reason, I guess. That's the first reason. But I mean, still, that's a good, you know, just period. Just even being in the game, you don't know exactly what somebody could say or how they could take it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then being in positions of leadership, if you're in any kind of position of leadership and you have people that like quote unquote work under you or whatever, you have to be super careful about having someone in a room when even if you're disciplining somebody or whatnot or having a conversation. They always tell you always need to have somebody else in the room. You know, you always, even if it's on the phone, you got to have somebody there.
Listen, let me ask you a question though. Now, and excuse me for moving around, but I believe it's the COO of Facebook. I forgot what the young lady's name is, but she's the COO, I believe, of Facebook. She was on a news show talking about how it's like big executives are now saying that they don't want to eat dinner. Like they will not have dinners with, you know, like, you know, even like business dinners with women. They like not one-on-one. They don't do any kind of private meetings. So basically they're not going to have a one-on-one meeting with you. And she was talking about how even that is sexist. And, you know, they kind of had a debate about it being like, you know, one guy is just trying to protect himself while the other person, because really, if you have a one-on-one meeting, and you're a big executive or a well-known person, that woman can easily say, oh yeah, he said this to me, or he touched me like this. And it doesn't even matter if you actually go to jail, your career is ruined.
You're disgraced.
So, but she was saying that's unfair and how that is sexist and how if you can't have a one-on-one meeting, because one-on-one meetings a lot of times where people might get promoted or where you can get some good quality time with your superiors. And she was saying that that's sexist, that they don't want one-on-one meetings. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's interesting. That's a different take.
Yeah, I mean, I acknowledge that, you know, it's been crazy out here for women, you know, for a long time. It's been a long time coming that there's some type of just justice out in society about how certain women are treated and taken advantage of. I do believe, and this is not a popular opinion, I've been castigated for this before on different social media platforms by thousands and thousands of people on my alumni page one particular time. But the Me Too movement, I think, was a swing of the pendulum in too much of an extreme direction. It just went very extreme for a while. And I think a lot of people are acknowledging that now. When I said it, it was at its height and it was not popular to say,
Right.
you know, and people just like, I mean, they just tried to, they tried to run me off. They like, I mean, you talking, it went viral. It was like thousands and thousands of comments, thousands
That's
of
crazy.
people. And I said what I said and like went to sleep. All my friends start calling me the next day, like, yo, have you seen the Morehouse Spelman alumni? Like, have you seen that? And I was just like, nah, I ain't seen it. Thousands of people was telling me I triggered them. I discounted their pain. I think because I said something, you know, it was in support what I said, but I kind of slighted the movement, the Me Too movement itself by name.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you think about it though, sometimes when it's gone the wrong direction for so long, you need that dramatic, that drastic turn in the opposite direction just to move the needle a little bit more towards the middle. Kind of like, unfortunately, kind of like what Trump, being elected did.
And that's what that was too. I can acknowledge that. I mean, we're constantly like trying to bring ourselves as a society into a state of balance.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, it swings.
There's extremes.
At the extremes before it kind of levels out.
Right.
And
right.
It's not comfortable for us. It's not comfortable for anybody who are, quote unquote, in those positions of power as men have been. And I acknowledge that, but at times it's rough. Like we have to protect ourselves, and to go to the point of that COO of Facebook, I think her name was Sheryl Sandberg. I just looked it up. Yeah, I think her name's Sheryl Sandberg. I feel it. You got to protect yourself. Like if at the height of that, if you're afraid of all the stuff coming down, like I wouldn't have a one-on-one dinner with a coworker either.
No, for the story to change in the direction, that it may or may not have gone. No, you need proof. You need a witness.
Now let me ask you a question though, because then that brings up the topic of believe all women. You have to, in those situations, the man is almost has to prove himself innocent. It's not, he's guilty until proven innocent in those situations. Not innocent until proven guilty. So how do you feel about that? And how do you balance that out with concrete evidence? Because to be honest with you, these, R-word stories, we'll just say it like that. These R-word stories have slowly moved, like as the pendulum is moving, they've all moved to really sexual harassment. Or when's the last time we've really heard of real R-word stories? Like she's walking down the street, gets hit over the head, and gets taken, advantage of like that, like real R-word. Like you don't really hear about that anymore. It's just, I felt uncomfortable. I did. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only thing. It's anybody, because to be honest with you, how many men have been sexually harassed? I've been sexually harassed. I've been verbally abused by a woman. I've been physically abused by women. I've been sexually harassed by women. But do you think in this age of equality, do all those women really want their whole lives ruined for what they did? Think about how many guys, it's almost a known thing of guys losing their virginity to their older babysitter. What if every single one of those women went to jail for pedophilia? Yeah,
that's charges too. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it sounds good, but unless we're going to use it on both instances and just have a vague thing where sexual harassment is bad, then I mean, I'm kind of iffy on all of it, to be honest with you, because I know a lot of women who sexually harassed, if these are our definitions of sexual harassment.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
So do you feel like it's diluting the real harassment that's going on out there? There's always going to be those outliers where it's like, I want to be in the mix too. I was harassed. I was taken advantage of. But then there's those, of course, who really went through it, really lived
Yeah.
I think it does somewhat dilute it. It may be a major shock at first, but when that pendulum swings and kind of balances out, you really have something where in the end it's going to be like, okay, this is what men have been doing forever. We are the aggressors. Of course, we're going to come up to you and talk to you and say things to you that let you know that we're sexually interested. I mean, let's quit the game. Sex is the basis for everything in society.
Right.
Sex is how you build communities. If men did not aggressively go after women, and when I say aggressive, not like rough them up,
Not
aggressive.
physically,
I mean aggressive is in like we have to be the aggressors. Like if we don't talk to women, women won't get talked to because women don't talk to us like that. They don't come up to us. We talk to them. We have to be aggressive and say, I want you, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. And I'm not trying to be a friend for you. Yeah, I want to be involved with you. We have to come across like that.
And the deal
So
is, if they like you and if they like that, it's cool. Everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if they're not attracted to you and they don't like you, it's harassment and you've done something
and also,
wrong.
when we live in an age where we're increasingly having women do things that draw sexual attention.
Wow.
So I mean, it's like women twerking all over the place, which honestly, in my opinion, is somewhat sexual harassment. If you just outran, like we had a party, that might be a little different, but women are twerking in restaurants, you eating food, and she's sitting there twerking, like
twerking in your face.
That's sexual harassment.
That is very sexual and that's harassment.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, where are we really drawing the line? Where is this really sexual harassment going? And you're becoming more sexual, trying to get more sexual attention. That's kind of where I have a problem with it. I don't mind. Yeah, I've been catcalled in the street. I'm not gonna say she should go to jail and have her life ruined.
Right.
Because I got caught. Oh, hey, bald head. What? Oh, you should go to jail and have your life ruined?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit, where it gets muddy is it's a little bit of get back is what it is, for some legitimate things that have been going on for years that, women have felt victimized for. So now it's get back. It's like, it's revenge, it's vengeance for those years, for those things. And it's funny because in those instances where men are catcalled or men are sexually harassed or touched, I've been places and been grabbed by women.
Sure. Yeah.
It's happened. I know it's happened.
We all, yeah.
What is your response? Like, as a man, I think even just culturally, you're not gonna like go crazy and be disgusted or call the police or whatnot. You might be uncomfortable. It's like, hey, chill. Mm-hmm. Or or same thing. If you like her, then you might be like, hey, okay,
Yeah, I think it would be the same.
That's the strange part. It all depends on the attraction level on whichever side.
Right.
And it does come with the attraction level, but I still think men face the harder burden. Again, Cardi B came out and said she drugs men and had them raped, and nobody said a word. And this is in the middle of the Me Too era.
Yeah, right.
This is the middle of the Me Too era. Nobody said a word.
It's called a double standard, my friend.
I'm fine. I'm fine. To be honest with you, I'm fine with double standards as long as they're on both sides. Like, yes, men have our double standards, women have theirs. Okay, that is fine. That is one of our double standards, but we're going to be able to get away with, with the other double standards as well.
But there's actually been statistics about that. Like, good-looking people are less likely to be convicted of harsher sentences than people who aren't so good-looking. So that's actually a study that has done that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a deep one. But what do you guys think about the fact that this is such? I mean, it seems like the longer a man of any type of status, financial success, and power is around, the more chance that somebody comes out of the woodwork. Somebody comes out of the woodwork and talks about harassment, R word, something like that, something uncomfortable, or they get divorced for stepping out of their marriage or being unfaithful. or those type of stories come out. What do you think about the fact that this just seems to be? I mean, is it just something? Is it the way men are cut? Is it just the way we are? Like, talk to me about that.
That's a good question. I mean, I think nobody's perfect. Everybody has some kind of skeletons in their closet. Times have changed since, when we were younger to now. And I think it really does come to light. What is done in the dark is really true. It comes to light. And you just have to be willing to, what can you do? What can you say? You got to take responsibility for what you've done. And that's, I think, Cuomo is semi-doing. He's kind of taking responsibility, but he kind of denied it a lot.
Flatly, though, Mo. He denied everything, flatly denied everything, and then resigned. He just don't want to be a spectacle. That was his reasoning. He said, you know what? We got a lot of stuff. We got life and death stuff going on right now. I'm not going to be a distraction from what needs to be done with COVID, what needs to be done with New York. So you know what? I'm just going to step aside so I don't create a distraction.
That's what he said. But he also said that he has done some touching. He is a touchy person. That's who he is, and he has kissed people. That's in his nature. That's in his culture. So I mean, what do you say about that? What do you do about that? And then on the other side of it, if you look at it, it's hard for women to actually come forward. If you think about it, just looking at the other side of the coin for a second, for one woman to come forward and a powerful man, that takes a lot of guts. You know what I'm saying? It's usually like after 11 or so, then women start to feel a little bit more comfortable. So it's a tough situation. But at the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And this man was in the wrong.
How do you feel about in terms of like Bill Cosby? So Bill Cosby was pretty much exonerated and released. So this is my thing. I think everything is okay, but if it is found out that you're lying, I believe you should face the same jail time and the same consequences that whatever person you were lying on, they were facing as well. Does that make sense? I know.
Makes sense to me.
Sure. I agree.
I think that would curb a whole lot of it, to be very honest with you. It come out 60 years later and it comes out that you're lying. Well, now you need to go to jail.
But the only thing
for ruining somebody's life.
Yeah, the only thing about Bill Cosby was a technicality. It wasn't that he didn't do it. It was a technicality that he said that if he confessed or said, he did this, it wouldn't go against him. So
that's absolutely not true, Mo. And that's unfortunately that is what the narrative has been. That it's a technicality. That's what the media's narrative has been. So
he is on tape. He's on tape saying that he actually did it.
Nah. He's not.
He never did.
But he's giving Quaaludes to women.
But that doesn't mean anything. I know dudes were giving Molly and ecstasy to women, and they did whatever they did. That doesn't mean it was
they're accepted.
Or sexual
harassment. The narrative is that the did it part. The narrative is that he drugged women without their knowledge. That's completely false, and he always said, "I did not do that."
Even if you drug women with their knowledge, and they then consent to having sex or consent to you doing whatever sexually with them, that's a
slippery slope, Mo. Because now you can't go to the bar. You can't
drug women, and then you can't drug women.
You can't say
drugs with them,
bro. Let's say I roll up a blunt and I say, "Hey, you want to hit this?" And you hit it. You can't say, "Oh, he drugged me." No, bro, I didn't drug you. I was sitting there hitting a blunt. You said you wanted some. I gave you some. I'm popping Molly. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. You say you want some. We're partying. I give you some. That's not what we mean when we say drugging. That's disingenuous. Drugging is without your knowledge. The term drugging really means without your knowledge. You can't drug somebody with their knowledge. They just took drugs.
Right.
But you still have to get consent. At the end of the day, you got to get consent. And that's why, I know a lot of guys now, they have actual contracts. Like,
you got to now.
You got to sign this. If we're gonna do it.
That's still a slippery slope, though, because what is consent? I mean, force, because at that point, it's just forcible rape. If you don't give consent, that's forcible rape. There is no sexual harassment. There's no drugging. Let's just get straight to that's forcible rape. You can't sit there and you have to have consent to have sex. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, I was on drugs." What they're saying is, "I was on drugs, so I didn't know what was going on." But you got to take responsibility for you taking drugs. You got to take responsibility for you drinking and getting drunk. If both of y'all are enjoying the moment,
alcohol is the biggest one for me. It's the same thing.
But if somebody passes out and you still proceed to move forward,
that's rape.
That's different. Yeah,
but that never happened. Bill Cosby never said I did that. That never happened. We're talking about women who said I went back up there a second time and got more drugs
and had a relationship with him numerous times after this.
That's completely different. I understand what you're saying. Yes, Bill Cosby never said, "Oh yeah, they were passed out when I had sex with them." Bill Cosby never came up. It was, yes, I gave them Quaaludes because they wanted Quaaludes. We're popping Quaaludes. We're all partying here.
And so the technicality that you speak of is not a technicality at all. So before that deposition that they talk about with the technicality, what they did is they tried to bring charges. They didn't have enough evidence to bring charges. The DA that was on at the time said, "Hey, look, we don't have enough evidence. These women are not credible. We can't bring charges." The next DA, the new DA that had a vendetta against the old DA, wanted to reopen the case. And he was trying to use this case to run for office. He was running for office by saying, "You know what? I'm gonna get Bill Cosby ticket." So what he did was he got him to agree to do a deposition. And he said, "Hey, if you do this deposition, we already couldn't file charges because we didn't have enough evidence to file charges. So what we'll do, we'll seal this, but we just want to ask you some questions in this deposition." So they went totally against the Constitution, broke his constitutional rights, and used a deposition that was supposed to be struck from the record. But they didn't even use something that, like he admitted to doing this. They took a small piece of it, X-Acto knifed, "Yes, I have given women Quaaludes," and took out the part where it was like, "Oh yeah, with their consent, because they accepted it, and it was a mutual thing," and used that.
To be honest with you, that really has nothing to do with anything. When it comes down to this case, that has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, we both took Quaaludes. We both went to the bathroom too. We both did. Y'all both did a lot of things. That doesn't mean anything about rape. That has nothing to do with rape.
And in the case of this Constant, the one he was actually falsely convicted for, it wasn't even Quaalude. She couldn't even tell. She said, what did she say? A white pill. It was a Benadryl or some kind of sinus medicine. Quaalude. They had the guy that created them come on and testify that Quaaludes only look one way. They're only blue. She described something else, which he said from the beginning was because she said she wasn't feeling well. Said, "Take this, to take your anxiety. It won't make you so anxious. You'll fix your sinuses or something like that or whatever." I mean, there's so much testimony to the contrary. We can't, like, us just listening to what they said in the media, you'll get it all messed up every time. I had to really research it and read the deposition.
Right. And again, if they would go to jail for the same amount of time that Bill Cosby was facing, I'd be completely fine with it. Because what you're doing is you open up the floodgates, because anybody can say it now. Anybody can say, "Oh yeah, he sexually harassed me." From 40 years ago, that's crazy.
Yeah, it gets real crazy. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be a Bill Cosby trial talk, but I mean it goes with it. Men in power,
right?
Yeah. We got deep on that though, because I'm into that trial, and I was like studying it and reading all the depositions and all of that. So anyway, but I mean, just think about the financial ruin. Not necessarily ruin, because some of these guys are, some of these guys that are getting divorced are losing, half their wealth. You know what I mean? Right. Which, could be justified. But a lot of these gentlemen, it just seems like there's a penchant for men to self-sabotage in some kind of way, whether they did anything wrong or not. Morally, a lot of these guys are married. having outside relations, on there, and that's that's their personal life, and it makes them look a certain way in the public. They lose money, and there you go. So, Cuomo, sayonara, my man. I think he,
Right.
Right.
Stop touching women on the breasts and on the boobs without their permission.
I want to read some of the other ones because some of them were kind of flaky, but the ones you talking about, he goosing, he goosing women and grabbing breasts. Like, what can you really say about that?
Right.
So it was called goosing.
That's back in the day. That's the old term.
You took it back.
That's the old term. Like I said, Revenge of the Nerds back in the day.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was like, goosing?
I was like, what? Please explain.
That's 80s terminology, bro.
Oh, okay.
I was a little conscious in the 80s. I was around.
I've been sexually harassed myself, if that's the case.
I was like, yeah, goosing.
Right.
I don't know if I've been goosing, but somebody came up behind me. A woman came up behind me.
All that.
Goose the shit out of me.
Yeah, my man's 63 years old. So it does seem like it's men of a certain age that haven't quite caught up with the politics of today.
And those are the ones that get weeded out if you don't change. But the thing is, it's in the past too. So how do you change?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's brought back up. But no, a lot of these cats, this is, this is recent with Cuomo.
Yeah, some of these guys still do it. He probably still out here over here kissing on women and shit.
So this is what he said. He said, in my mind, I have never crossed the line with anyone, but I didn't realize the extent to which the line had been redrawn. That's poignant right there. Thank you for letting me serve you. It has been the honor of a lifetime. God bless you. Man, talk about just being disgraced and just walking off with your tail between your legs.
All right. He disgraced the family name.
The L, though.
Yeah, his brother almost lost, he couldn't speak on him on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't allowed to speak on him. For
a while, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, I forget his brother. They always want at each other's house, and like one of them had COVID. His brother had COVID.
Yeah, CNN had COVID.
Yeah, so that's deep, man.
Chris, there it is, Chris.
No, man, good conversation. I don't think we're ever gonna get to the end of a conversation like this because this stuff is gonna continue to, rear its ugly head, and as long as men have power, they're gonna be men crossing the line, right? So just
to be honest with you,
yeah, I mean, at a certain level, you feel untouchable, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
You just feel untouchable, and you've been getting away with it for so long.
That's the that's the segue. That's the the gateway drug. You get away with it first. Right.
Media, arts and entertainment, other. Neil deGrasse Tyson, y'all. Who did Neil deGrasse Tyson harass, bro? Like, is this at a physics symposium? Like, what, bro? No, come on, not the smartest dude on the planet, basically. Cristiano Ronaldo.
To be honest with you, if you're a man of any type of power, some woman is going to say something against you. A woman might say something against you just for rejecting her, because women don't really get rejected like that.
Nah, they don't.
They don't really face rejection like that. So to be honest with you, you can reject a woman and get something like that. Almost every famous man probably gonna have some woman somewhere that said, "Oh, he did something to me," or "He did something I didn't like."
To me. Mm-hmm.
Right, didn't say something. I mean, it's just that's just the nature of the business. Yeah.
Nelly.
Now I can tell you when this next depression comes, this economic downturn, when our dollar hits zero, those cases will go out the window. Trust me. You will hear no more about sexual harassment.
Because winter will be here.
Winter will be here. You will not hear about sexual harassment. You really only hear about it in good times.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, you're not gonna. You think a woman's gonna say you sexually harassed her when there's no food out here? So it's a famine.
She's in need of protection.
She's in need of a protection and provision. Trust me, there's not going to be any more of that.
That's a
Interesting.
very interesting point.
Yeah.
Very interesting point.
To be very honest with you, I don't, and this is not to be mean. Feminism, Me Too movement, all of that can only survive in good times, and really are only our first world issues. You don't go to third world countries and really hear about feminism like that. There's not going to be too many. There's no strong independent woman talk really in third world countries like that.
Not on a high level. No, not at all.
Because let me tell you, and Dominican Republic is not really fully third world or anything like that. Come down here, it's catcalling all day long. It's catcalling all over the place.
Those are male-centric societies.
Exactly.
So it'll only reach such a level. So I think it'll still be talks, but the level that it reaches is a different story. Like mainstream.
Well, with us becoming such a global society, like you do have offshoots, like that they kind of. I've seen little offshoots where they kind of piggyback on the Me Too movement that's going on in the United States, but it don't catch no like steam.
Right. Let the water grid or the water supply and the electrical grid go out of whack, and there's nothing but darkness and no water. There's not gonna be feminism.
Oh no. Ain't no time for that.
Times of famine, there is no feminism.
No, that's that's for sure.
We're
gonna end on that. That's something to ponder, Boss Moves family. That's something for y'all to ponder. When the economic downturn really turns down, I don't think we're gonna hear anything about any of these movements. Not to say they're not real and important, but they are first world problems. And we might not be first world no more. Be completely honest. Well, that's been the Boss Moves Live podcast. This is the second one, fellas. We got here on time, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to do a 9-minute long soliloquy. You know what I mean? So the Boss Moves family got to have all three of us. We got the introduction to the fourth member of Boss Moves.
Yeah.
Congrats about that again, my man.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
I hope the lady is doing good and resting up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's resting, getting back to her normal self.
That's great.
Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Well, check us out next time. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you. Boss Moves. We out. Peace.
Take it easy.